The 19th International IREX Real Estate Residency and Citizenship Conclave recently took place in New Delhi, showcasing global real estate investment opportunities and residency options for Indian residents. The event gathered international real estate firms, immigration and legal consultants, and government bodies under one roof.
IREX has been a good experience. It's not just from the lead generation perspective, but also from the marketing and branding perspective. It gives a good exposure to the brand. And since these are all people, those who are looking to settle abroad or looking for an opportunity abroad, Shobha Realty gets a good exposure for those kind of audience.
IREX 2024 has been a great conference so far. My team has always come to these conferences, and we find great investors here who are interested in EB5.
Delhi is a great market. Since the presidents, our prime ministers actually visit in February, the relationships of Greeks and Indians have grown a lot. We've seen a huge immigration wave and a huge interest also for people not only to invest but also to work in the country. So it's actually always a pleasure. It's my third time here. We have a lot of clients. A lot of people are interested to invest in our country. A lot of people are interested to invest in real estate and actually travel to our country. So New Delhi is actually a very strong market.
The event was a resounding success, attracting over 1,000 visitors, including top real estate developers and marketing firms from the UAE, Qatar, Malaysia, Greece, Portugal, Cyprus, the UK, the USA, Austria, Germany, Malta, Hungary, and Spain, offering various investment and residency programs. The event kicked off with a panel on unlocking the EB5 investor program, key insights for success, featuring prominent EB5 regional centers and law firms.
We are here to talk about the EB5 Investor Visa program, all that it has to offer. A lot of people in India today have the American dream. This is a unique pathway to fulfill that dream. It allows foreign investors and their families to gain US residency by investing in American businesses that create jobs. You've heard a little bit from various regional centers. We are here with all of them in a comprehensive discussion now. So just to give you the headlines once again as far as the investor program is concerned, by putting in a minimum of $800,000 into a designated high unemployment area or a little over $1 million into other areas, investors can secure a green card for themselves, the spouse, and children under the age of 21 years. So the goal of the program is, of course, to boost the US economy, but also to offer investors who have the American dream a chance to build a life in the United States of America. So let's explore what this opportunity has to offer, what are the checks and balances investors should be putting into place. And if I can start with you, Girish, firstly, why should an Indian opt for this pathway, the EB5 visa program, over other US immigration programs to really gain permanent residency in the US?
The reason why this question is really relevant is to first understand what the goal of a particular individual or the family is when they are trying to look for US as an option. So EB5 visa allows the investor, along with their family, if they have clean source of funds of $800,000 to secure permanent residency in the US. It is one of the fastest routes to be in the US. So first, you need to analyze yourself as to EB5 is something which you want to opt for, whether permanent residency is something which you want to opt for, because there are various visa categories which serve various purposes. So for example, if you just want to visit the US, then B1, B2 is a great option. If you want to start your own business but doesn't necessarily want to settle in the US, then L1 is a great option. So similar to that, EB5 visa gives you an opportunity to have permanent residency in the US with a fast option to be there permanently. Now, when I say fast, it doesn't mean it's quickly, within 2 to 3 months, you are going to be in the US. It's a step-by-step process. You have to complete each of those processes to procure your green card. But when you look at other visa categories such as EB2 or EB3, there are decades of wait line or wait time. You are essentially stuck in a queue. There are people who have invested and who have applied for EB2 visa 10, 15 years back, they still are yet to receive their green card in the US. So when you compare that, EB5 visa gives you that quick option to have permanent residency in the US.
Ria, coming to you. Now, what is the role that a regional center plays in an investor's EB5 journey, and how does one identify a good regional center?
So first and foremost, there are multiple regional centers that are available in the industry for you to look at, multiple projects available. What you essentially need to see as an investor is look at the track record of the company. See how long the company is been operating, what kind of projects they have. Do you understand the asset type that they have as for their offerings? Then you look at how much money have they raised versus how much money have they been able to repay back to investors? Because as much as your green card is important, what's also important for most or almost all investors is to receive your money back in full. The $800,000 that you are investing in, you must see that a regional center has a good track record in returning those funds back to the investors on time. So these are a few things to look at when you're doing your due diligence when you're looking at different projects by different companies.
Abhishek, how important is it to choose the right project? And what should investors look for while choosing these projects?
So there are two aspects of your entire petition which is going to decide the entire course of journey for you. Number one is going to be the source of funds. Number two is the project that you're investing in. Now, thumb rule of choosing a project is, I'll talk about developers and developer security over here because majority of the projects that you will find in EB5 world are related to real estate. So capital stack, the project should have a good capital stack. Some rule of choosing a project is how much money is coming from the developer's own pocket. That means what is the developer security? In what form the money is being given to that particular developer or is coming to that particular project? How is the structuring done? What is the track record of the developer? How many projects the developer has done in the past? How many projects were successful? How many EB5 investors have got the money from that particular developer? That means you need to be with an experienced developer, not only in the field of real estate, but also in EB5 world. Plus, the most important thing nowadays is go with a project which has an I-956F approval. Now, that is something which is important because that really decides the timeline in which you're going to get approved. Plus, it's also like there are only two ways you can get denied. Either there's a problem with your source of funds or the project did not get approved. So if you're already investing in an approved project, that means you're checking one box. You cannot get denied through that. Other most important thing is that when you're looking at the capital stack, look at the LTC and LTV. What are that? Loan to cost, loan to value. If you're investing in a project, it has a good loan to cost, good loan to value numbers, go ahead with that.
All right. Good. That was a comprehensive view of, projects and things people should look at while investing in projects. Akshat, if I can come to you next, what are the minimum investment requirements? How do they vary between targeted employment areas and non-targeted employment areas? How do investors then assess where to put the money?
Sure. Essentially, there are two categories. One is the targeted employment area category. The other is the non-TEAs or the non-targeted employment area categories. The investment in a targeted employment area category project is $800,000 versus the investment in a non-TEA project, which is $1.05 million. Now, as industry folks, what we have seen is most investors in today's times look for a targeted employment area project because it has a further classification of a rural, a high employment area, and an infrastructure project. So the USCIS has given an allocation or a visa availability of 32% from the total visas that are issued to all EB5 investors globally, specifically set aside for this category. As an EB5 investor, if you apply or invest in a TEA project, you're basically standing in a separate queue as compared to all other EB5 investors who are applying from across the globe. In terms of what is the minimum investment tenure, the USCIS recently, in terms of their guidelines, said that they defined a sustainment period to be as a minimum investment of 2 years where your entire $800,000 has been disbursed or lent to the JCE So the government says as long as your entire $800,000 has been invested in the project for a minimum period of 2 years and has created the minimum number of 10 jobs per investor application, you're eligible to seek a refund. Having said that, the actual maturity of the project completely depends on the project that you're investing in. So all of us would have different investment tenures. What we are generally seeing, especially after that judgment, is that most EB5 projects have a tenure of 3 to 5 years.
Now, Arushi, you are the lawyer on the panel. So how complex is the legal process for an investor who wishes to invest in this program? What are the laws that they need to know? And, how do you help investors make their way to the US?
First of all, I'd like to begin by saying it's not a complex process. And as stakeholders, as experts here, we are with you to make this process seamless. Now, how do we do that? We have to be cognizant of certain laws, both in the country of origin, which is, let's say we are sitting in India and chatting about this. So you have to be cognizant of the laws in India, as well as you have to be cognizant of the laws in United States. And this is why I'm very proud to represent a law firm that has a footprint across the globe. So at Donoso & Partners, we are based out of Maryland. We are a team of US expert lawyers. We also have Indian lawyers on the panel. And together, the entire team ensures that you meet all the compliance. So just to take an example of what are the laws that you need to navigate through. When you are remitting funds from India, understand that this is an investment-led migration program. So you're investing $800,000. You need to find out what are the Reserve Bank of India rules, how much money can you remit in a financial year, how much money is allowed to be gifted to an individual, can I source the entire capital from my business, or do I need to navigate certain tax laws? So this is where our firm of experts comes to your rescue. In the first 1 to 2 months, when you start talking about the program with us, all we do is educate you about it. In fact, we have a strict due diligence process, not before we are fully satisfied that you meet all the evidentiary criterions, that your source of funds are in place, will we ask you to make any investment in any project.
I want to give you all 30 seconds each to pretend to be EB5 investors yourself. And what is that first question that you're going to put out, either to a regional center or to an attorney? The first question that comes to mind as you being an EB5 investor. Abhishek, let's start with you.
Okay. I would really like to know the track record of the regional center and the project. What have they done in the past? I would like to essentially we are talking about an NCE manager over here. So you should always go ahead with issuers who have history of doing successful projects. What was the history? What was the track record of job creation? How safe were their earlier projects? How many projects have they already repaid? So I can keep going on.
That's a list of questions. One question each. Arushi.
2 main questions. When do I get my green card? And how do I get my money back? How safe is my investment? Favorite questions, and here to answer all of them.
Right.
Yeah,
Akshay.
I think what is the project that I'm investing in? Need all details about that particular project. Can I visit the project? I think these are predominantly the questions because, as I think everyone mentioned, past success does not guarantee future results. So your money is dependent on where you're investing at the end of the day.
All right. Riya?
I think one of the most important questions I would ask is how many projects has the regional center done, and how many projects has the regional center been able to successfully repay?
Fair enough.
So after asking all these questions, the next question would be, whom are you working with? Who's the developer? And whether there is any strong track record between the regional center and the developer, and then focus on the project. Because these are the 3 important points: the regional center, developer, and the project wherein you are investing. So all these 3 aspects need to be covered.
Hope the session was insightful for you all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here today.
The conclave also highlighted various aspects of real estate and immigration through country-specific presentations from leading developers and immigration experts. The focus was also centered on global investment opportunities and the financial and legal implications of investing abroad. Seasoned journalist Mridu Bhandari moderated a fireside chat, focusing on the key factors individuals should consider when selecting an EB5 regional center for their green card journey.
So we are talking about the EB5 Investor Visa program that allows you to fulfill your American dream. It's the fastest route to a green card, particularly for investors. So Girish, before this we had the panel where we comprehensively discussed everything about due diligence, compliance, what investors should be looking for. In this session, we want to squarely talk about regional centers, what makes a regional center unique and stand out, or there are a bunch of reputed regional centers out there. How do we know which one is the best one and which one is the best one for me in particular? So Girish, to start with, give us a sense of what CMB Regional Centers really does. How long have you been in the business? What are some of the big projects you've done? Give us your track record a little bit.
Sure. Thank you, Mridu. So CMB Regional Centers was first established in 1997. So we are actually one of the oldest active regional centers in EB5 space. In all these 27 years of our experience, we have worked with more than 6,300 plus investors from 103 different countries, including India. And we have seen many approvals. We have seen a lot of success stories when it comes to receiving permanent green card and return of capital. We have raised around $3.1 billion US, upwards of that in all these projects, 85 odd projects that we have worked. And we were successful in returning the capital back, almost half of it. So rest of them are still invested in the projects. We have repaid back around 1.3 billion US rather, in all these projects. So when it comes to a regional center, CMB Regional Center has that experience, and we act as a fiduciary on behalf of the investors. Of course, the regional center is designation which an entity gets from USCIS, which is the adjudicating body. So each regional center has different ways, different comfort levels when it comes to working with different developers, projects, asset classes, which area, looking at the demand. So it really matters as to what kind of right questions any investor is asking the regional center so that the regional center can respond accordingly. It is also the basic responsibility of the regional center to answer all the questions transparently, not just through email or oral communication, but all these details which are being quoted are also featuring in PPM or private placement memorandum, which is submitted to USCIS. So all the data is backed by the document which goes into USCIS, so there is no question of misinformation or miscommunication on behalf of the regional centers if the intention of the regional center is to conduct proper business.
Right, okay. So then are all EB5 regional centers the same, given that they're all reputed, they have a great track record, they've safely returned investors' money? What makes a particular regional center stand out or make it unique?
Right. So regional center, as I mentioned, is a designation. So every regional center is the same in terms of them being a regional center as such. What differentiates a regional center is basically their track record, their current project, their comfort level with the developer that they are currently working with, the track record between the developer and the regional center. That is very important. It is also very important to understand that the regional center has to act as a fiduciary, and when I say fiduciary, it's a commonly used term in EB5 or regional center space, but the responsibility is huge in terms of ensuring that the job creation which is being projected in that particular project is being fulfilled via the construction activities. So the regional center has to take care of the day-to-day management in terms of having periodic reviews or periodic information from the developer that they are working with, whether the project is on time, whether the construction activity is happening on time, whether the funds which are going from the regional center NCE into the project, whether they are being utilized in a proper way or not. And different regional centers function in different ways.
As we wrap up this conversation, your final message to all those sitting with that American dream here in this room or on CNBC TV 18, your key message on how to get started on that EB5 investor visa program journey?
My suggestion would be to start with the discussion within the family. If you want to take that step of going ahead with EB5 visa or not, and once you decide, you should reach out to 2 or 3 people, not more than that, because too many people will give too much information. Google is also, or internet is also a great tool to utilize to find out more information. However, not all information is correct. What you read over the internet, there might be few things which might be incorrect. So first step is to do your own due diligence in terms of whom you want to speak with, and then reach out to them, ask all the relevant questions, and do not sign up or do not take hasty decision just because you want to move forward until and unless you are sure 100% that you are comfortable with this particular regional center, the attorney, the project, and you want to be in the US permanently in the first place.
Right. Thank you, Girish. That was really insightful. Thank you for sharing all those insights into how to choose the right regional center and get started on the EB5 journey. Appreciate you joining us here
Thank
today.
you so much, Murli.
The event allowed real estate and immigration experts from various countries to present various international real estate, residency and citizenship programs to potential investors at their respective booths in the exhibition hall.
USIF is a regional center. We're showcasing our I-956F approved project, which is called Summit, New Jersey. It's a multi-family project for lease in the heart of Jersey City. We've also launched our loan program by Opportunity Fund Lender, where we're giving a loan of up to $400,000 for an investor's EB5 petition at a minimum rate of interest of 4.95% per annum. Obviously, it's subjected to eligibility criteria.
So CMB Regional Centers has been in EB5 space since 1997. We are a regional center. CMB actually is one of the oldest active regional centers in EB5 business. EB5 visa is an investment-based visa to secure permanent residency in the US, which includes main applicant, spouse, and unmarried children below 21 years of age.
EB5 United is a EB5 regional center. We're showcasing some of our projects that we have for investment in America that allows investors to obtain a US green card and immigrate to the US. So we have some great projects that also qualify for priority processing, which gets you the green card a little bit faster. And that's what we've been showcasing here in Delhi today.